Hey, Stoic friends, welcome back. At night, the world collapses into silence, but your mind, it becomes louder than ever. Not a whisper, not a murmur, a full-blown war behind your eyes. You lie still, but inside there's a riot. Every memory you buried comes crawling back, dragging chains behind it. That betrayal you never healed from, that message they never sent, the apology you never received, the words you regret, the tears you swallowed, the blame you carried even when it wasn't yours. And there's nowhere to run now. No job to distract you, no fake laugh to wear, no screen to numb you. Just you and the raw, brutal truth you've been dodging all day. You roll over hoping it'll ease, hoping a change in position can somehow quiet the storm. But it doesn't. It follows. It grows teeth. It gets louder, and it stares you in the soul. But here's what nobody tells you. That moment, right there, is holy. It's not weakness. It's not madness. It's the realest thing you've felt in weeks, because that is the very edge where your old self dies and your new one is born. That silence is sacred. It's where all the masks drop. It's where all the fake strength melts. And finally, you get to meet the version of you that's been screaming behind the curtain. The one you keep hiding behind fake smiles and filtered photos. The one who's tired of pretending. The one who's been bleeding quietly. You are not broken. You are awakening. You're not falling apart. You're finally feeling everything you've buried alive. Seneca once said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." And that quote doesn't just whisper to, it hits like a slap in the dark, because most of what's breaking you isn't the pain itself, it's the echo, the rerun, the mental replay of the moment that hurt you, over and over and over again. It's the way you punish yourself for what someone else did. It's the way you think healing means forgetting. But healing isn't amnesia, it's confrontation. And sometimes the only way out is straight through hell with your eyes open. You see, the human mind is wild, chaotic, but also transformable, not with fake mantras, not with blind optimism, but with war, inner war, with choosing, night after night, not to let your past script your tomorrow. That shift doesn't happen when everything is calm. It happens exactly here, in this dead silence. When your chest is heavy and your eyes can't cry anymore, that's when you get to grab the wheel. That's when you stop surviving and start reconstructing. And you don't do it by deleting your emotions. You do it by standing in the fire long enough to realize it won't burn what's already been forged in it. This isn't a video for the faint-hearted. This is for the quiet warriors, for the ones who are tired but still show up, for the ones who laugh in public and collapse in private, for the ones who've mastered the art of pretending, but tonight they crave something real, for the ones who aren't chasing light anymore, they're becoming it. You are not weak for breaking down. You're strong for still standing after everything that tried to shatter you. So tonight, don't just lie there hoping to drift. Rise in your silence. Let your demons scream and stare back until they lose their power. Let this be the night you stop escaping and start rebuilding. Don't skip this. Every second of this message is a step closer to the version of you that's been clawing to breathe, the one that doesn't beg, doesn't chase, doesn't shrink. If this is hitting you in the chest, if your soul feels like it's been waiting for someone to say this out loud, you're not alone. You're rising, quietly, powerfully, brutally. And if you feel it, if this is the reset you've been craving, then let the world know you're not the same person who lay down tonight. Say it with your whole being in the comments. I'm rising in silence. And if your heart's pounding right now, subscribe. Because this This is just the beginning of everything they said you'd never become. Now, let's go, my friends. Number 1. Clean the mental room before you sleep. Your mind is not a storage unit. It's not some junkyard where unresolved pain, fake smiles, and buried anger should be left to rot overnight. It's a room, a sacred one. And every night before you close your eyes, you either clean it or you sleep in the stench of your own emotional garbage. That's why people wake up exhausted even after 8 hours of sleep. It's not their body that's tired, it's their soul. Their subconscious has been at war all night, fighting ghosts they never dared to face during the day. You think you're resting, but you're really just hiding. You're just pressing pause on pain, hoping it disappears in the dark. But here's the ugly truth. They never disappear. They multiply. Guilt turns into shame. Resentment becomes rage. That one argument you keep revisiting becomes a toxic echo that poisons your peace. And yet, we scroll, we distract, we lie to ourselves, saying, "It's fine, I'll deal with it tomorrow." But tomorrow becomes never. And the room? It grows darker, dirtier, heavier. Stoicism doesn't beg you to fake positivity. It drags you into the fire of self-awareness and tells you, no man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus didn't mean fake strength or hollow calm. He meant you own what you allow to breathe inside your head. Because your thoughts, they're architects. They build your next dream, your next word, your next downfall, or your next breakthrough. So tonight, stop hiding behind noise. Put the phone down. Let the silence crawl in. Let it scream if it has to. Let it rip open every drawer you locked years ago. Ask yourself, not softly, but like a man on the edge, what the hell am I still carrying? What anger is chewing holes in my peace? What memory is still rotting in the corner, pretending it doesn't hurt anymore? And when you find it, don't run. Don't drown it in dopamine. Grab it, hold it, look it in the eye, and then choose to release just one thing, not everything, just one bleeding thought, one grudge, one lie someone said that you turned into your identity. Burn it, rip it off, spit it out. This is not a cleanse, it's an exorcism. And no, this isn't some fluffy self-love ritual. This is war, a sacred one. You're not sweeping things under the rug. You're dragging them out into the open and saying, you don't get to sleep next to me anymore. Because when you clean your mind, peace doesn't just show up. It kicks the damn door down. It reclaims territory. It breathes in your lungs. And you don't just fall asleep. You surrender into something holy. You turn sleep into a ceremony of freedom. You stop escaping the day and start ending it with power. Do it once, and your nervous system exhales. Do it every night, and you begin to rewire. Your thoughts stop screaming. Your heart stops bracing. You wake up without armor, because you no longer need it. You feel light, but not empty. Silent, but not numb. That's not healing, that's rebirth. So don't close your eyes with a storm still raging inside. Don't sleep beside the same poison that ruined your day. Tonight, sit in the mess like a warrior in the wreckage. Clean that room, close the door, and rest like someone who took their mind back from hell and finally knows they are in control again. Number 2, your mind listens when your words are quiet. Transformation doesn't come with a spotlight. It doesn't wear applause. It doesn't scream. Real change creeps in through the cracks of silence when the world isn't watching and your mask is off. Most people think growth is something loud, something you shout from rooftops, something you post online for validation, something that needs an audience to be real. But the mind doesn't listen when the world is clapping. It listens in the quiet, when the crowd is gone, when the lights are out, when it's just you, alone, with the voices that once tried to bury you alive. That's when the rewiring begins. That's where real healing unfolds, in whispers, not roars. Your self-talk isn't harmless. It's not some background noise. It's the architect of your existence. Every sentence you say to yourself is either bricks or bombs, and most people don't realize they're living in ruins they built themselves. They keep feeding their mind-infected scripts. I'm worthless. I ruin everything. Nobody really cares. These aren't harmless thoughts. These are internal weapons disguised as honesty. And the more you repeat them, the deeper they dig into your wiring until you start living the curse you whispered. You don't just feel broken, you become it. You don't just feel unseen, you start shrinking your soul just to fit the lie. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." That's not poetic, it's a warning. If you coat your mind in bitterness every night, don't be surprised when your spirit starts decaying. If your last thoughts before sleep are soaked in shame and self-hate, your dreams will turn into battlegrounds. That's why you wake up feeling defeated before you even begin the day. The fight wasn't lost in the morning, it was surrendered in the silence of the night before. So tonight, speak, not loudly, not dramatically. Speak in the voice you've been silencing for years. Speak in the hush that trembles but doesn't break. Say the words that feel too big for your mouth. Say them anyway. Whisper them like sacred prayers no one else needs to hear but your own damn soul. Say, "I am not what broke me, I am what rebuilt me." Say, "I don't owe this pain a lifetime of identity." Say, "I forgive myself, not because I'm weak, but because I'm done bleeding for things I didn't cause." You don't need to believe them perfectly, just say them every night, like a ritual, like rebellion, because that whisper, that quiet, trembling voice, is how you override the viruses that infected your system. The goal isn't to yell louder than the old voices, it's to outlast them, quietly, patiently, relentlessly. And yes, your voice might shake. Good. That means you're not pretending. That means it's real. That means the cracks are opening. And through those cracks, light. Through those cracks, a new story. One that isn't handed to you by trauma, but written by your own damn hands. You don't need a crowd. You don't need permission. You just need to speak into the dark until your mind remembers who the hell you really are. This is how you take your mind back. Not with noise, but with truth. Truth that's whispered at midnight and turns into armor by morning. Number 3. Let go of who you were before midnight. Midnight isn't just a timestamp. It's a spiritual threshold, a quiet revolution, a line in the sand that life draws for you every night, daring you to drop the weight of who you used to be. And yet, most people drag yesterday across that line like a corpse they're too afraid to bury. They carry their failures like scars carved in stone. They wear old versions of themselves like chains, rusted, heavy, familiar. And they wonder why every morning feels like a repeat of the same war. It's not fate. It's not bad luck. It's the ghost of who you used to be, still living in the walls of your mind, because you never evicted it. You are not required to keep becoming the same version of yourself just because it's who you've always been. But that's the prison most people die in. They confuse pain for identity. They confuse history for truth. They confuse survival mode for personality. Somewhere along the path, you started believing that your trauma is your name tag, that your heartbreak is your reflection, that your silence means you're small. But that's not truth. That's residue. leftover pain from a version of you that was just trying to breathe. And if you don't learn to release that version, you'll keep dressing it up and calling it me. Seneca said, "Every new beginning comes from some other beginning's end, not transition, not overlap, end." The Stoics didn't believe in dragging yesterday like emotional debris. They believed in complete severance, clean mental cuts. If a moment has ended, then your obsession with it must end too, or it will rot inside you. There is no space for rebirth in a heart still clinging to ashes. So tonight, not tomorrow, not next week, tonight is your moment. Not a cliché reset, a funeral. Bury the version of you that tolerated crumbs and called it love. Bury the version of you that kept apologizing for existing. Bury the version that made a home out of silence because they didn't know their worth made noise. And do it without mercy. You don't owe your past self anything except a thank you for surviving. But survival is not a destination. It's a bridge. Now cross it. Don't wait for clarity. You don't need answers to let go, just decision. Identity isn't some tattoo on your soul. It's a daily ritual, a nightly purge. And every night, midnight stands at your door like a silent witness, asking, will you finally stop dragging your corpse into tomorrow? Close your eyes tonight like a warrior who's done bleeding for battles that ended years ago. Whisper to the dark, that version of me. She's gone. He's done. They're buried. Then breathe and begin again, not as who the world remembers, but as who you were always meant to become. Number 4. Your future is shaped by the silence you conquer. Silence terrifies people more than chaos ever could. Not because it's empty, but because it's honest. Because when everything goes quiet, the mask you've worn all day starts to slip, and the real war begins. That's when your mind drags you into the courtroom of your own regrets. That's when the voices show up. The ones that waited all day behind your distractions. The ones that whisper, "You're still not enough." The ones that remind you of who left, what you lost, what you should have done differently, and suddenly the dark feels louder than any scream you've ever heard. But let me tell you something that most people never realize. Silence is not your punishment. It's your proving ground. It's not the enemy. It's the place where your future waits, holding its breath, asking if you've got the courage to sit with the wreckage without trying to drown it in noise, because that's where transformation happens, in the unbearable stillness most people run from. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." But mastery doesn't come from motivation, podcasts, or surface-level mantras. It comes from staring into the mirror at midnight when your soul is bleeding, and saying, "I will not flinch." You don't conquer life by adding more noise. You conquer it by becoming the kind of person who can stand in complete silence and not be devoured by it. That's the arena. That's where fake identities shatter and real ones are built. Because in that silence, that sacred, brutal silence, the truth doesn't whisper, it roars. The truth about the parts of you still bleeding from wounds no one sees. The truth about the lies you told yourself just to feel safe. The truth about how often you betrayed your own needs just to be loved. And in that silence, there's no audience to impress, no script to follow, no filter to hide behind. Just you. Unedited, unmasked, undeniable. And that's exactly where your power lives. Because the moment you stop fearing silence, you start controlling everything it used to control in you. You stop jumping at every external noise. You stop chasing people just to feel valid. You stop reacting from pain. You start choosing with clarity, moving with calm, building from stillness. And that kind of self-possession, that's untouchable. So tonight, don't just face the silence, conquer it. Sit in it until it gets uncomfortable. And when the voices rise, don't silence them, challenge them. When they say, "You'll never be enough," answer with stillness so powerful it feels like thunder beneath your skin. This is not weakness, this is war. And silence is the final boss before peace, because the real healing isn't about fixing what they broke. It's about facing the part of you that let it stay broken. And once you do that, once you survive that silence, you become someone unstoppable. You've been surviving the noise for years. Now, it's time to own the silence and shape your future from the stillness no one else could handle. You are not broken, not shattered, not lost. You are becoming. Every whispered word you spoke in the darkness tonight, those fragile sparks trembling in your mind, are the seeds of a revolution. This is no fairy tale magic. This is raw, ruthless mastery. This is intention carved deep into the bones of your being. You have already begun to rebuild yourself, piece by jagged piece, by daring to listen, to feel the weight of your own silence, and to choose something different. While the world sleeps in ignorance, wrapped in shallow distractions and empty noise, you are forging something eternal in the shadows, a mindset sharpened by fire, an identity stripped down and rebuilt stronger, a future no one else can see yet, but one only you will command. Hold on to this truth. Hold on to the power burning quietly beneath your skin. This is your rebirth, your awakening, your goddamn resurrection. Like, comment, share this with the broken, the lost, the fighters who need to hear this right now. Subscribe, and don't you dare skip the silence ever again, because in that silence, your empire is rising.